Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm gonna show you how to install the full thrust kit into your VSR-10 style sniper rifle. First of all, I want to thank you for your support and for purchasing this kit that will let you enter the future of airsoft sniping. It means a lot to us. It means that we can develop more stuff. Obviously, the money that you paid for this helps us again to develop new projects and to grow the company and to make new cool stuff. So thanks a lot. We really appreciate it. Now, before we getting started, some details and some insights about VSR-10 sniper rifles. There's lots of different options out there. There's Qinggong, there's Syma, there's Snowwolf, there's Marui. There's probably 15 different brands building this kind of sniper rifle. And all of them are slightly different. We made this kit so it can be fitted into as many rifles as possible, but it really depends on which kind of VSR-10 you have, if it fits without any modification or not. The entire kit was built to the Marui VSR-10, so that's the gun right here. But even VSR-10s are not always the same. These guns have been built since, I think, 30 years by now, and from batch to batch, stuff changed. So a VSR-10 that's 20 years old is not the same as a VSR-10 now. So again, we tried to make the kit in a way that it fits the VSR-10, but we can't promise it since the specs got changed over time. But anyways, I'm gonna go through the installation and how you can tackle those fitting problems and how you can then fit the kit inside. Now let's open the kit and let's have a look on what's inside. Inside the kit, we have the card that brought you with this link to this video. Then we have the inner barrel right here in the protection tube. Then we have a full thrust magazine. Now here it's marked with the full thrust, transparent so you can see the BBs. Make sure to only load the full thrust BBs into these magazines and not into 6mm magazines, because the bigger BBs can destroy 6mm magazines. Then we also have a speed loader. Now this speed loader is also marked with full thrust. I highly recommend to only put the 644 BBs in here. Don't, use other BBs as well, and then you accidentally load smaller BBs into your converted sniper rifle. This will just lead to problems. Also here, this speed loader takes the 6.44mm BBs. Some other speed loaders do as well. So in case you lose this one, you don't have to necessarily buy it from us. You can also try the ones that you have at home lying around. They might work as well. What I recommend you to do, however, is to remove the O-ring here in front. There is gonna be, a little O-ring right here, and you can take them out. Then you can usually use the bigger BBs. Then we have a drill template, a drill and an Allen key for the adjustment. More about those parts later. And we also have the hop-up arm with a spring and the screw and the hop-up rubber. Now let's talk about which tools that you need to install everything. You probably have the tools at home anyways, because you're a VSR-10 owner, which means that you're most likely a tech. And one disclaimer also, this kit should be installed into a gun that's between 2 to 4 joules. So if you have like a stock VSR-10, this kit will not do anything for you. You need a sniper rifle with the power between 2 to 4 joules. What's not included inside the black box is the Teflon tape. You will find it in the box of your entire order. We will need this later on. Okay, you need a medium-sized Phillips screwdriver, a small-sized Phillips screwdriver. You need a set of Allen keys. You need an electric drill. And in case if you have fitting issues, it's handy to have a file and a piece of sandpaper. And that's really all you need. Okay, let's take the rifle apart and let's get into the installation. First of all, we need the correct Allen key to remove the stock from the rifle. This is different on every VSR-10 type, the size of this one. So there's one screw here and one screw there on the Marui version. So let's take it out. And then press into the mag well and pull up the stock to take those two apart, and we don't need the stock anymore, so we can put it away. What you want to do next is remove this screw right here. Now on my VSR-10 this already stripped long time ago, but you will find a screw right here. That's a Phillips screw. Just unscrew it. And then on some VSR-10s, not on this one, but on some, you also have to remove the top rail screw right here. And sometimes you even have to remove the entire rail because below there's a little set screw. Then you can unscrew the outer barrel. Just twist it counterclockwise. And then we also don't need this entire part anymore. We don't have to touch this at all. We only touch the barrel assembly. Next, we want to unscrew this block. Remove it, then remove the little metal piece. And then you can slide out the hop-up chamber. What we want to do now is make use of the drill template and the drill in order to make a hole into an outer barrel. That's then going to be used for the TDC mod, so for the screw adjustment. Therefore, we use this entire piece right here. Here's the drill. Just take it out of the packaging. And take your electric drill. You can even use a Dremel or anything that can, where you can put a drill inside and that's turning, a drill press, whatever you have at home. Then you want to take the drill template. This is how the drill template looks like. Here we have a threaded hole and here we have the big hole for the drill. And you insert it this way into your outer barrel. And then you align the threaded hole with this hole right here. And you can use one of those screws and just screw it in there to fix it in place. Now put your outer barrel over the corner of the table and insert the drill and just drill the hole. Now, if you never drill the hole, there's a direction of the drill. It should turn clockwise like this. And on this drill, for example, you can switch the direction here with this little switch. That's different on every drill. Okay, let's drill it. Okay, there we go. Now we have the hole. Here, nice and clean. If you have any residues, you can use a knife and remove it. But in my case, it's drilled very clean. So there's no reason to do that. Now you can get rid of all the metal here. Then you unscrew this again. And you just put it back to where it belongs to, so that we don't lose the screw. That's always a good idea. Always put the screws back into its place. Take the drill template out, and now we will work on the hop-up chamber. First of all, you want to remove those plastic arms, and we will actually not need this anymore because we're switching to the screw adjustment. Then use the small Phillips screwdriver. Now here it's again different. On the Qingong version, for example, you can take the medium-sized Phillips, but here in the Marui we need the small one. Okay, here we go. Now take out this part, then lift the shell. And now there's a couple parts that we're not going to need anymore, including the inner barrel with the hopper backing. Okay, put those away. Then we don't need the hop-up arm anymore. And then we don't need these two parts anymore. Just screw it back together so you can store it somewhere and you're not going to lose the parts. Same for this little lever, screw it there. So it's all tidy and you cannot lose the parts. Now you want to take the hopper backing and the inner barrel and also the Teflon tape. Take out the inner barrel, removing this rubber cap. And now you can put the backing onto the barrel. Here it's supposed to go on like that. If the window is looking towards the top, the little knob should face you. So this is how you insert it, not the other way around. Just press here, wiggle, put it on there, squeeze a little bit. And it's really all about, slight movement until you hear that it all clicks in place, it all found the right spot. And then this rectangle here should be in line with those cuts. It should not be off. Otherwise you will have side hop effects. Okay, what we want to do now is we want to wrap the hop up here with Teflon tape. Quick explanation why we need that. It's a very soft hopper bucking to get the friction done for the 0.58. What's happening with soft hopper buckings? when this chamber is closed, the hopper bucking is not supported here in front from the top. And what can happen is that it just lifts slightly like this, and then the air can basically blow out here. And you can lose a lot of joules, so you definitely want to put the Teflon there. Otherwise, it's impossible for you to reach more than 2.5 joules, no matter which spring you use, because of the air leakage. But with Teflon tape, you can fix all that. And the way you do this is you make 3 wraps around here. And you don't want to make it too tight, because if you make it too tight, you can displace the hopper bucking, and that's the last thing you want to do. So you just put it there that around 1/3 of the Teflon tape is on the hopper bucking and the rest is on the barrel. And then you just pull slightly, and you really just pull slightly, you know, don't do anything crazy. Just pull slightly and wrap it there. So there was 2 wraps, and now we do a 3rd wrap. And then when you want to cut it, you actually don't need scissors, you can just press here with your finger and then pull it towards the top. Don't pull it down, because then you make the wrap tighter. Just pull it against your finger and rip the Teflon tape. The rest of the bucking, you just want to, you know, make it here nice and clean, twist it. And now make sure again that it's all in the right spot. Again, this knob here has to be in line with this cutout. If it's misplaced, just remove the Teflon again and do it one more time. But now it's going to seal much better, and we can put it into the rifle. This is how it goes inside. And now we can install the arm. Here one more time, make sure that the side of the shell where there's the little pin, if this pin faces you, also this little block should face you, because this block here will then go into this knob once we assemble everything. Now it's time to install the hopper arm. Just take it out. And what you want to do here is, before you install it, we have to do a bunch of Teflon wraps. Because what the spring does is it presses exactly onto the Teflon, and you know, the sharp corners of the spring can damage the Teflon wrap, which will then make it to not seal again. So what we are gonna do is we take once again the Teflon. We disconnect it here, and then we just fold it one time in half, like this. And now we are gonna wrap it around the tip of the spring so that it's soft and smooth and that it will not damage our Teflon wrap. Okay, here we go. So the little access you have right here, you can just cut it. Don't cut too close to the metal, because otherwise you don't have the protection. Just about this. Press it tight, and now we have a soft surface here on the Teflon, and it will not damage the Teflon wrap. Next thing we want to do is we take the Allen key that's included. It's a 2mm Allen key for the screw adjustment. You know, if you ever lose this, don't worry, you can get a 2mm Allen key in every hardware store. Unscrew this little screw. And the screw has screw glue on it, so that it doesn't adjust by itself so easily. What you can always do to make this even more secure is to add more screw glue if you have some. So that would be a medium strength screw glue. The way you do this, you know, just apply some of the screw glue. If you have a Norwich maintenance kit, you know, you can always use this screw glue right here. That's included, also medium strength. And if you don't have any of this, what you can do is to just wrap the screw with Teflon tape to again avoid the adjustment by itself. The spring will already help a lot with this, because the spring puts constant pressure onto the screw. But anyways, just to make it double secure, we are gonna wrap more Teflon tape around it. The way you wanna wrap it is against the direction of screwing it in. So the tip of the screw looks away from you, and then you put it on top of the Teflon tape and wrap it in this direction. Now once it's on there, just keep wrapping, turn it about 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we can again rip it off. Here, make it nice and clean. And the excess you can just cut away. Take the screw and screw it into the arm. And now you will see that you will have more friction and the screw will not adjust by itself anymore. And it's less likely that it will adjust during the game. What you want to do now is put the arm into the chamber. And don't press it down yet, because now we first close up the shell. For closing up the shell, there's a few tricks. Just close it slightly. Then you can press in with your finger onto the little plastic clip here. Already close it here on the top so that the spring cannot move out. Press it in. And here we go. Now it's all closed. Take a small Phillips screwdriver. Screw it all together. And until now, we didn't press down the arm yet. And also don't do it, because the more you press this and wiggle around, then it's more likely that you damage the Teflon tape again. Now, before we install the chamber, you want to bring the screw into an adjustment range that you can work with. Therefore, twist it all the way in. And now we want to make 4 turns counterclockwise. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is about the adjustment where your BB will fly straight. And I highly recommend doing this before installation, because otherwise it can be quite difficult on the field to find the right spot. It's also something you should memorize. If you have problems of, BBs getting stuck because it's adjusted too much, or you just can't get it to hop, screw it all the way in and then 4 turns counterclockwise. And you're somewhere in the neighborhood of where the BB should fly straight, and then you can do your fine adjustment. Now we put the entire assembly back into the auto barrel. Therefore, we just slide it in. You will find your barrel spacer if you have one. And what you want to do now is, while the arm gets pressed down, you want to press the spring towards the front. So towards here, slightly, just like 2 millimeters, that it doesn't press onto the bucking, but onto the barrel. And with pressure, you now insert it into the auto barrel. Here we go, that's it. Now you align all the holes and you screw back on your block. Up next, we screw it back onto the receiver. And you can already see where you can adjust the hop-up. So here, when the Allen key goes inside, this is how you adjust it. But here, keep in mind that it's the opposite way how it's usually. So if you tighten the screw, it's less hop-up. And if you lose the screw, it's actually more hop-up. Now the hop-up adjustment on this screw here is quite sensitive. So you don't wanna, if you want more hop-up, you shouldn't make 5 turns or even 1 turn. We are talking about, like 5 degrees for a different hop-up effect. Don't overdo this. It's really, just turn it slightly in the different directions and see how the BB flies. If you're afraid of losing this Allen key, again, it's a 2mm Allen key. You can buy it anywhere, really. And if you don't want to mess with searching in your pockets when you want to adjust on the field, I highly, highly recommend you to get the Allen key holder that we offer at knowledge.com. You can just slide it on here in front of your scope, tight down the set screw so you don't lose it anymore. And then during the game, you really just, you're playing and you just take it out, you do your adjustment and you put it back in, and it's always in the right spot. It's right where you need it, and it's really handy. When I was playing with the 644, this made everything a lot easier and a lot more convenient for adjusting the hop-up. Now the whole thing goes back into the stock, just like so. And you can screw everything back together. Okay, great. Your rifle is finished. Now it's time to insert your magazine and to load your magazine with the BBs. There, take out your full thrust magazine and your full thrust speed loader. Nothing new here, just fill your speed loader with the BBs. Then fill your magazine, just like any other magazine. You can fill it with BBs all the way up. You can actually see here how it's getting filled. Okay, there we go. And now you can insert it into your rifle. Let it click in place. And now you are ready to shoot. Okay, this one is feeding perfectly, but anyways, let's talk about troubleshooting, because feeding can be a problem on VSR-10s, as every VSR-10 is different, so I want to address that. If you have feeding issues on, let's say, a VSR-10, I can already give you a tip, because I installed this kit into many different guns, and again, on every gun it's different. So here we have an upgraded VSR-10. And what's happening on this gun, when I insert the magazine, it actually goes in quite hard and I feel quite the resistance. And when I want to take it out, it's also quite hard. I really have to pull here and I have to wiggle in order to get it out. That's because the chamber of the VSR-10 is a lot more narrow, and what you can do to fix this problem is not really the chamber. I would not work on the chamber, I would work on the magazine. This is the standard one and this is the modified one. What I did here is I started filing this side slightly. I'm talking about half a millimeter. And I did this because again, the VSR-10 chamber is just too tight here from the sides. And what you don't want to do is file on this side, because if you want to start filing on the side where there's not the clip, you will have less pressure on the clip, which will cause feeding issues. So always file on the side with the clip. What also can happen is that the opening of the chamber is not big enough. So this opening right here. And here it really helps to use a round file and, to just file it slightly bigger here on the corners. Just look at it and think, where could there be any obstruction that the BB cannot be passed? Because again, this chamber is built for 6mm guns on the Marui and the VSR-10. They feed perfectly, but also here it really depends on the batch. Maybe there has been a batch where this chamber is slightly narrower, and then you have to file again. If you have serious troubles with getting the hop-up right, it might be that it's pressing way too much and it's decreasing the joules by too much. So the chronograph helps a lot to find out if this is the issue. What you can always do if you seem to not find the right spot is to turn the screw all the way in, and then you do 4 entire turns. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now your hop-up should be about in the right spot, and from here you can do your fine adjustments. But again, this is different on every VSR-10. The axis of the levers and the arms, it's just very different. Okay, that was it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any issues with the installation or with shooting the BBs, just contact us through norwich.com/contact. And man, I hope you have a blast with your rifle. Again, I was using the 644 kit, the full thrust kit, in my SSG. And also in my VSR-10, actually. I played with it with my VSR-10 as well, just to make sure that everything works. And I had a blast, man. I did incredibly long shots and I really enjoyed using it. So can't wait to hear your guys' results, and especially to see those scope cam videos with the full thrust system.